The Intergalactic Academy was known across the cosmos as a place of rigorous education, where students from every corner of the galaxy came to learn. It was a beacon of knowledge, attracting beings from races far beyond what humans could imagine. The classrooms were filled with advanced technology, and the students, all of them well beyond human in their capabilities, were the brightest minds of their respective species. But no one could have predicted that the arrival of a single human would turn their world upside down. Sergeant Alex Drake, a decorated soldier and one of humanity's finest minds, had volunteered for the Academy's exchange program. His reason was simple. Earth was still a young species in the galaxy, and by participating in such an esteemed institution, he could help foster relations between humanity and the alien civilizations. He was a veteran, yes, but he had always excelled in anything he set his mind to, even school. His easy homework assignment? A challenge that had been handed down from the teachers for years, a problem so complicated that no student had ever managed to solve it entirely. It was meant to weed out the weak-minded and provide a test for the galaxy's most brilliant. The classroom was a vast, holographic expanse, designed to make learning an immersive experience. It was a perfect fit for the diverse group of students. There were Zorathians with crystalline skin, Valkorians with massive wings, and Vorians whose minds operated at speeds far beyond human cognition. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural intelligence, and their grasp of concepts was far more advanced than anything a human could conceive. They were accustomed to winning academic competitions, their races leading in almost every field of study. And yet, when it came time for the final exam, which had been prepared for months by their professors, it was one assignment in particular that caused the most anxiety. The problem had been designed to test every aspect of intelligence, logic, problem-solving, patience, and endurance. Every species had struggled with it. Some spent days, others weeks, trying to crack the code. Even the Valkorians, with their impressive intellects, had been stumped by it. But when Sergeant Drake entered the room and sat down at his desk, he faced the challenge with a nonchalant grin. The holographic screen displayed the problem in front of him, a mathematical puzzle so complex that it had become infamous across the Academy. The problem was set against a backdrop of floating equations, formulas, and visual cues that would have sent most minds into overload. It was a problem that required not only raw intelligence, but also an uncanny ability to break down and simplify the most complicated ideas. The alien students, having witnessed humans fail in other subjects before, expected nothing different this time. But as Sergeant Drake began to work through the equations, the rest of the class fell silent. He was moving effortlessly from one part of the problem to the next, solving each section in a matter of seconds. His human brain, accustomed to fighting against overwhelming odds, seemed to take the problem apart in ways the aliens couldn't understand. He was looking at the holographic screen not with confusion, but with the sharp clarity of a soldier used to outmaneuvering enemies on the battlefield. He didn't just solve the equations, he found shortcuts no one had ever considered. Every step was a battle in itself, but it wasn't just the knowledge that set him apart. It was his ability to approach the unknown with a calm confidence that the aliens lacked. The Valkorians looked at each other in disbelief, their wings twitching with unease. The Zorathians blinked their multiple eyes, trying to comprehend what they were witnessing. And the Vorians, whose minds were designed to calculate at speeds faster than light, found themselves stumped. They could not make sense of the way Sergeant Drake approached the problem. His solution was so simple, yet so elegantly efficient that it seemed almost absurd. They had spent hours, even days, trying to crack the code, but here was a human, just one human, solving it without a single hesitation, all with the look of someone completing an ordinary task. The professor, a highly respected Treshk, watched the scene unfold, unsure how to react. The Treshk had always been the gatekeepers of knowledge, and the Academy's curriculum was meant to challenge even the most gifted minds. But what was happening before him was unprecedented. A human was not only excelling at a task thought impossible, it seemed as though Sergeant Drake was toying with it. Within minutes, the problem was solved. The holographic screen flashed, showing a flawless solution, one that even the most advanced alien minds in the room couldn't fully comprehend at first. Sergeant Drake leaned back in his chair, grinning slightly as the entire room stood still. "What did you just do?" a Zorathian student finally asked, the first to break the silence. His voice was full of both awe and frustration. Drake smiled, wiping a bead of sweat from his forehead. "I didn't do anything that hard. You just have to look at it from a different angle. Sometimes, a problem doesn't need to be solved with brute force. You just have to outsmart it. The alien students exchanged glances, a mix of shock, disbelief, and growing respect. They had underestimated humanity. They had believed that humans, with their primitive technology and limited understanding of the cosmos, would never be able to keep up. But here they were, a single human soldier, armed with nothing but his mind, stumping the galaxy's finest. In that moment, Sergeant Drake wasn't just a soldier. He was a symbol of humanity's capacity to adapt, to overcome, and to find victory even in the face of seemingly impossible odds. The aliens who had once looked down on humans, considering them primitive and inferior, now saw them in a different light. No longer was humanity a species to be ignored or underestimated. As the final bell rang, signaling the end of the exam, the alien students shuffled out of the room. No one spoke, but the weight of the moment was heavy in the air. Sergeant Drake had done what no one thought possible, and in doing so he had proved that humans, against all odds, belonged on the same stage as the greatest minds of the galaxy.